Everybody has watched TV, movies, sports, and politics and seen those celebrities, but have you heard their real stories? Every episode on Celebrity Encounters podcast, we interview real people just like you sharing their own personal celebrity encounters. And with a little storytelling help from us and a few surprises from here in Las Vegas, this is Celebrity Encounters Podcast.
Hey, welcome back to Celebrity Encounters Podcast. I'm Haley Brooks.
And I'm John Rodolini, and today we are joined by the lovely Penny Wiggins. Penny, what's going on?
Hello, Penny.
I was going to tell you about my celebrity encounter.
Well, that is the name of the show. I don't think we're there yet.
Yes, she said it.
We haven't told the audience there's a secret word. Why would they know?
No, I wanted them to not know. I wanted it to be a surprise. Otherwise, if they know, then it's not a surprise.
The audience has to know, though. They're always told.
No, they're
And
not.
right now, they have no idea why there should be a secret word because they still don't know who this celebrity encounter is. I'm so glad that we do this as a team.
What's
It's
the
so
name of this
fun.
podcast?
Hi, Penny. It's the celebrity
Ah,
encounter.
all right.
We're still not there. We have to tell them what the word is and that it's a secret word.
I think they figured out what the word is.
Hi, Penny.
Again?
So excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, so you have a celebrity encounter.
Indeed.
Okay, may we ask whom?
Who?
Don't you want to talk about the celebrity word first, or do you want me to tell you who the encounter was?
He's
Let's-
so
let's-
mad right now
let's
about
lead with
this.
the
This
celebrity.
is not going. He had a vision.
I have a
and
reason.
He made a storyboard,
I will
and he
explain
was
it.
so committed, and it's
I
ruined.
want a divorce.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
taking him
Divorce
out.
the keyword?
I'm
No,
taking the dog, dumbass.
My celebrity encounter was with Pee-wee Herman.
No way!
The legend.
The reason for the season, Mr. Secret Word himself.
Everyone do it.
Now, the secret word of the day is celebrity. So when you hear the word celebrity, everybody shout. All right, now you know knowing's half the battle. Let's get to it. How do you know Pee-wee Herman?
Well, my famous person, I didn't say celebrity, but my famous yeah, I tricked you into that. It was Pee-wee Herman, and there's a place in Hollywood called the Magic Castle,
Love the
where
Magic Castle.
all the magicians go,
Mhm.
and some of you here know about that. And so I was with Amazing
Some of you
Johnathan.
here.
It's me. You probably know too.
I know what it is. I've never been.
Well, we gotta fix it.
Was backstage,
Ooh.
and there was a guy sitting there in the chair backstage, and I'm like, who is this guy? Because he just looked like a strange guy. I was like, I didn't recognize him. For sure didn't recognize him. And then Jonathan said, that's Pee-wee Herman. I'm
Now,
like,
which Jonathan was this?
Amazing Johnathan.
Me.
Oh, the Amazing Johnathan. Magician, comedian, great guy.
We were performing that night,
Amazing.
and I was as my character, Psychic Tanya,
Mhm.
and so, sexy, and to be sitting backstage, and I did not. He just looked like a normal kind of weird guy, dressed in strangely. I just can't remember what he was wearing, but it was just like a strange outfit for a guy. And then he had a little child sitting on his lap. I'm kidding, that didn't happen. No, wait, I went too far. No, so he cut, rewind. No, so I went up to him and go, oh, what do you say? Like you should always be prepared to know what to say to one of you, because he was one of my idols of
Yeah,
all
he's a funny
time.
guy.
Yeah,
Pee-wee
I swear to
Herman.
God, I didn't fart. But that did make a farty noise when I moved.
I'm sure the
I
mics
need to
picked that up.
I need to address
Mhm. We're gonna cut to a replay now.
it.
You be the
See?
judge.
Right. It's like it's very confusing on what you say to one of your idols. You
Yeah.
never, like, I wish I could rehearse, like, okay, so if I meet Jenny McCarthy, here's what I'm going to say. or if I meet, Jim Carrey, here's what I'm going to say. Goldie Hawn, so I have a whole, you should always be prepared to meet your celebrity. So you're not just going.
So, would it be different for each famous individual that you meet? Are the things to say going to be kind of similar, or do you have like a Rolodex of if I meet Goldie Hawn? Okay.
Because you don't know what the scenario is going to be. You need to be prepared for every scenario.
Sure.
Rehearse like what you're going to say. If you see Pee-wee Herman, don't say hi. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Don't just, which is what I did. Well, I was in character, so I was like, hi, Pee-wee Herman. And, or do you say Paul Rubens? Like
I was just going to say, like, should we be calling him by his real name?
Well, by his government name?
Yeah.
It depends. If he's in Pee-wee regalia.
Was he dressed as Pee-wee?
Yeah.
Dressed as himself.
Okay.
But like a little odd and very quiet and no eye contact. So looking down, but he was, but he was still nice enough. But it was very distant kind of thing.
Was this before or after the scandal?
Way after the scandal.
That might be why he's standoffish.
Maybe.
I would hate everyone.
Yeah, maybe.
I would hate everyone. I would hate everyone if I were him.
I like that you have a premeditated game plan for this scandal if it happens to you.
Yes. I'll make it.
But I'll let you in on one of my secret thoughts. Is
All right.
I have always thought that Pee-wee Herman called the police himself. Because come on, really? And I'll tell you why. Because I think he was sick and tired of doing Pee-wee Herman. He couldn't get out of it. He was so typecast.
Like a Disney kid, like a Miley Cyrus.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've always like who the hell else is calling the police on a guy jacking in a
movie theater designed for that.
Right. Who else? There's every guy next to him was probably doing so who's calling the police? Who really? Come on. So I think 100% that he was sick and tired. He wanted to change his image, and he was done with that. Pee-wee Herman. So he was done with it, and he wanted to change. So that's been my thought forever.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love it. Yeah, I think you're dead on about that. I love that.
So for those who may not be in the know, because our viewership is wide, how
Don't call him fat. That's so rude. You guys are beautiful just the way you are.
So for those not in the know, Penny, do you mind filling our lovely viewers in on what this scandal was?
All right, so he was in a one of those illicit movie theaters, and he was sitting by himself in a row, and he was, making himself, he had his junk out, and he was making sure that he's going to get satisfied before he left.
He was kneading the dough, baking the cake.
I see.
So in the middle of all that, I don't know how close to the middle or
Choking
I
the
don't
chicken.
know if he scored a score, but he the police arrived at this illicit movie theater and arrested him
Oh goodness.
for public
Indecent.
sexual demonstrations, whatever it's called.
Well, I'm actually really curious if he did finish, because I think that would be an additional charge, because
Clean
that's
up on
like
aisle 5.
when you spit on someone, it's a bodily fluid. Spitting on someone is a huge deal.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why I'm curious if he did like ejaculate. It's probably like an additional
charge.
Yeah. So if he just had blue balls, I mean, you'll have the blue balls, that might be your charge, but based on what you're saying, he was just trying to get out.
I really
get out.
I think there were times when he said that he couldn't get cast in anything else to save him.
But he did get cast in other things, but that's the thing. The second you see it, that's Pee-wee.
Like Mystery Men.
Yes.
Which I will encourage all of our viewership to watch Mystery Men, because you may not recognize that it's Paul Rubens until later. And Okay, fun segue. Do you know the game show from back in the day, and it's back now, called, is it, what's the name of the game show where...
You're the one describing
I
it.
know, sorry. Hi. Half-formed thought here. It's the game show...
Celebrity Squares.
Nope.
Hollywood Squares.
Still no. That's the same game. It's the game where you have 3 or 4 people, and they all... a prompt is read saying, like, this person has robbed a bank and gotten away with it. And so they'll be like, hi, I'm this person's name. I'm person's name. I'm this person's name.
Oh, yeah. I know which.
What's my line? Is that it? Okay. So this game show where you have, I think, 3 or so contestants or people, and then there's a panel of judges, usually celebrities, sometimes lay people, and they have to figure out which person is to tell the truth. To tell the truth is the name of the game.
Okay.
And it's on TV still. And so you have to figure out, of this group of people, this lineup, who's telling the truth. Who is this real person? And if you win, you get points. And now I think it's a bunch of celebrities that play trying to figure out who is telling the truth. And Paul Rubens, prior to his untimely passing, was on this show in disguise multiple times, and no one realized it was him till way late in the game each time. So like he comes on, and they're like, I wonder if it's contestant number 3, and they find out it's Paul Rubens. They're like, no way! And then he comes on the show again down the road, and they still don't know. Yeah.
Master of disguise.
To tell the truth. Yeah.
He's a true performer.
Yeah. So, taking things back, sorry, that was a segue I appreciate you all going with me on to fruition.
It was a really long segue.
Well,
It went through 2 names.
it sure did. But we're going back to the Magic Castle because while
I'm headed back to the castle.
Back to the Magic Castle.
That sort of like pulls everything together is that 2 people that I had a celebrity sighting. People that I had that sighting that were both in the same movie, and I didn't know Paul Rubens was in Mystery Men, whatever it's called, Mystery what?
Mystery.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I didn't know they were in that. And then isn't that weird? And the Janine Garofalo was in it. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. She had a what was her superpower, Penny, in that movie?
Bowling.
Her superpower was bowling.
Bowling.
I
Everyone's.
The ball and throw it like 6,000 feet. Hey, shh! There's my dogs. That's barking dogs. I like cats better. Anyway,
Did
so
you use cats?
we were talking about Paul Rubens back at the Magic Castle, and so he wasn't very talkative or very good at communicating, and no, you never would have really known it was him until even he did talk, like he's like, hello, nice to meet you. It was like a little bit of that, like, hello, so you could kind of tell, but no way would you, but I was also like dumb. I was like, I didn't even know what to say. I introduced myself. I'm like, hi, I'm Psychic Tanya. I'm Penny, and I'm in a show, and so then he semi-acknowledged me, like, hi, nice to meet you. So,
Like he gave you a taste of the Pee-wee voice?
Of the Playhouse.
What?
Did he give you did he give you a taste, like a little, like, he knows who he is, he's gonna give you what you want?
Little Pee-wee action.
Trying as hard
I
as
hope
he
he
could
didn't give her
not
a
to
little
be
Pee-wee
identified.
action. That's so rude.
And even afterward, that was it. But there was nothing warm and fuzzy about, like, hey, how are you? There's nothing like that, which you
Okay.
expected. But no.
So was he performing at the castle that night?
Nope. He was just coming to see magic.
Aw. Does he do magic?
I don't know.
He's just an enthusiast?
I think he does.
That's our
But,
second celebrity encounter magic enthusiast.
Yeah.
The first was Steven Tyler.
Oh yeah, Steven Tyler. And if you haven't watched that episode, go check it out.
Oh, I guess when we talked to the magician, I guess that counts as well. Your buddy.
Oh,
Wait, that's the same one. Go watch
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Back to this story.
Wait, where were we? Anyway, Yeah, so that was my meeting one of my like idols too.
Super
It's hard
cool.
to say to an idol, you know, how do you speak to them?
Especially because you're dressed in your character too,
Yeah,
right?
you're getting ready to go perform.
So that's actually kind of cool. It's two people.
He
You're
probably was
in your
looking at me.
character, but trying to be yourself. You know this man's character, and he's being himself, but trying to give you a glimpse of his. What an interesting back and forth dynamic.
Yeah. Now, did you get to see? Oh, go ahead.
A good way to point that out.
You're welcome. You guys
I
have
never-
multiple personalities.
Makes everything better. Anyway, on, John.
So, do you know if Paul Rubens watched your show with the Amazing Johnathan, Psychic Tanya and the Amazing Johnathan?
No idea because wait, I think he did because I think I don't know. I can't remember because I think he was just so quiet and standoffish. It was hard to even read what he was thinking. So it's possible he saw it. I can't remember.
Okay.
I blocked it out because it was too emotionally sad for me. Thanks a lot for bringing that up. Next.
Way to go, John.
Well,
Out here crushing people's spirits and dreams.
I met well at the magic just to add to it the Magic Castle.
Okay.
I met Charlize Theron in the bathroom.
Ooh.
I was in the bathroom and I was like, oh my God, hi. I said, oh, I love your work, and she's like,
Wow.
So, all right. I know that we know, and I know that you know, but for those who don't know, who is Psychic Tanya?
Oh, Psychic Tanya is I'll show you a picture. Psychic Tanya is a character that I did with Amazing Johnathan many years ago. About 20 years ago, we started together, and he and I were like Grace. It was like Gracie Allen and what's his name? Gracie Allen.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't know who that is. Say good night, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. No, you guys don't know that. All right. Anyway, so
I
this
know Will
was
and
like
Grace.
Tanya.
There you go.
If you can see that, can you see that?
Yeah, wasn't that George Burns' wife?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Took you a while, but so this was Psychic Tanya, and I was a dumb blonde with Amazing Johnathan, who was so I would bring things out wrong. Everything I did was wrong. And he would yell at me, and I would trip. I would ruin all the magic he was doing when I did. So that was our dynamic. It was me being the dumb blonde, bringing the wrong things out, dancing with the volunteer, trying to get him to kiss me, and calling him sexy. So we did the show. We had a residency here at the Golden Nugget for 2 years, Riviera. So I was just his sidekick, basically.
That's amazing.
And my character's name was Psychic Tanya, but I wasn't really psychic in the show.
I just realized we're having a celebrity encounter
Right now.
discussing another encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, famous person and famous person combining. So during your time as Psychic Tanya and
Yes.
working with the Amazing Johnathan, I know that as comedy nerds and magic nerd, you went all over the place as a duo. You have to have some really cool stories about your travels, time backstage or doing shows. What are some of your favorite moments from your time working with the Amazing Johnathan?
I don't have any. Oh, John. No,
We got to the bottom of that story.
And scene. No, I have so many. I have many, but I think that should be saved for another podcast because there's a lot. There's a lot of things. One I think he stabbed me in the eye with a staple gun. He stapled my eye, and I got 7 stitches. And that's a cheery story. But
Now, is this part of the show, or is this something that happened after the fact?
In the show, he staples my eyes because he's blindfolding me, and I'm trying to guess what's in his hand. Hence,
okay.
Of course, I get everything wrong. But for this, the staple gun had been replaced with a new one, but there was one staple in it left. And so He didn't know it, and he stapled my eye, and it punctured my eyeball, and all this liquid came. I ran off stage. I thought it was bleeding. It wasn't. I went back on stage. I finished the show.
Wow.
And T-shirts, and then went to the hospital, and they said, you need an eye doctor. I went to the eye doctor, said, we need immediate surgery. So we got immediate surgery, or I would have lost my eyesight. Where are you? And so then that was 3 weeks. It took about really a month to heal. So, but it's still now I have something in my eye, not in my eye, but I have what's it called when you have not cataracts, but the other one.
Astigmatism? Floaters?
No.
Floaters?
No. Anyway, so it's when you have some kind of trauma to your eye, and so
scar tissue.
no.
All right.
Oh, hold on a second.
I
Oh,
love when you
Minta?
ask any questions. It's my
It's going to
favorite.
become a new segment on the show.
we're almost done here.
Penny for your thoughts.
But
Is
anyways,
it cataracts? Do you have cataracts in that eye now?
the other one, I can't remember the name of it.
Does it start with an R?
A C.
Can I
It's
buy
a-
a vowel?
Starts with a C. It's not cataracts. Catacombs. Catacombs. Catacombs.
Cats and
Honeycombs.
dogs.
Ooh, I haven't had honeycombs. I'm gonna get honeycombs on my own.
More of a
Diabetes.
sugar snacks, man. If you can't join us, diabetes.
Mm.
And what a fitting way to end tonight's broadcast. I think, though, you're on to something, Penny. We are going to have you back because you're leaving the people wanting more.
More Penny.
More Penny, more Amazing Johnathan, and going back to our celebrity encounter. Pee-wee's Playhouse had a lot of really cool, famous people.
It did.
Like Lawrence Fishburne was Cowboy Curtis. Phil Hartman, the late great Phil Hartman,
R.I.P.
was Captain Carl. And one of my favorite segments on Pee-wee's Playhouse was a short called Penny. And with that, I'm John Rodolini.
We're going the opposite ways. I'm Haley Brooks.
This is Penny Wiggins, and you are watching the, say it with me now, Celebrity Encounters Podcast.
Good
Ah!
night.
Thanks for tuning in today, and if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on all your favorite platforms. We'll see you next week with the next episode of Celebrity Encounter Podcast.